What if I told you that just off Spain's coast lies an underwater world where ancient creatures drift like living prisons and groupers guard territories in a Europe marine sanctuary? Today we are diving into the Tabarca Marine Reserve, 1,400 hectares of protected Mediterranean waters where every descent reveals secrets that have been 500 million years in the making. We are starting our adventure from Santa Pola, just a 30-minute drive south from Alicante, about 20 kilometers of coastal road that brings us to this charming fishing port. While you can reach Tabarca by boat from either Alicante or Santa Pola, we choose Santa Pola because of the shorter boat transfers and the diving center. Today, we are diving with Dive Academy Santa Pola, heading not precisely to Tabarca Island itself, but to something even more special, the waters of Spain's first marine reserve. Designated a protected area in 1986, the 1,400 hectares of sea surrounding the island, from shallow shores to depth of 40 meters, now serve a thriving refuge for Mediterranean marine life. But now, let's jump into our first dive. This dive takes us down to 30 meters to explore a wreck. But immediately, I'm reminded that the ocean always keeps you humble. Gear malfunctions happen, and today, my mass decided to test my problem-solving skills on the water. Combined with an okay-ish visibility, this dive became as much about adaptation as exploration. I struggled a bit with the camera, but I think I saved the day. Here's our first resident, a conger eel. European conger eels are fascinating night predators that can grow up to 3 meters in length. What makes them particularly interesting is their opportunistic feeding behavior. They are both active hunters and scavengers, adapting their diet based on available prey from fish and crustaceans. They can be shy, so seeing one like this was a good plus of the dive. These powerful eels have been patrolling Mediterranean wrecks for decades, perfectly adapted to the rocky hideouts. And they're perfectly camouflaged as scorpionfish. These masters of disguise are some of the Mediterranean's most successful ambush predators. Their venomous spines aren't just for defense, they are part of a sophisticated hunting strategy. Scorpionfish can remain motionless for hours, waiting for prey to come within striking distance, and their mottled coloration makes them nearly invisible against the rocky substrate. Sometimes what you see on the water isn't quite what it appears to be. But our safety stop brought the dive's most magical moment. This ethereal beauty is a comb jelly, not actually a jellyfish at all, but one of the Earth's most ancient animal groups. The name, ctenophora, comes from Greek, meaning comb breeder, referring to those 8 rows of hair-like cilia. As the cilia beat rapidly for locomotion, they retract and scatter light like tiny prisms, creating those mesmerizing rainbow wave of color, and it's not electrical activity. These transparent creatures can range from just a few millimeters to over a meter in size, and what makes them truly remarkable is that they represent one of the earliest branches in animal evolution. They have been drifting through our oceans for over 500 millions of years. Time for our safety stop. After some sorrowful interval, we move to our second destination, La Llosa, locally known as Merolandia, and you are about to see why. The visibility clears dramatically here as we descend into La Llosa. At first glance, this underwater grassland might seem out of place. Why is this grass here, so far from the shore? This is Posidonia oceanica. Not grass at all, but an ancient marine plant that have been called the lungs of the Mediterranean. These meadows produce more oxygen than Amazon's rainforest of equivalent size. Each plant can live for 100 years, and some meadows are over 100,000 years old. While Posidonia is endemic to our Mediterranean Sea, seagrass meadows aren't unique to these waters. There are 72 different seagrass species worldwide, creating on-the-water forests, and the life here is unmeasurable. Seagrass and the rocks here are not just covered in algae, they are living cities, sponges, small crustaceans. Every surface tells a story of a life adapting to a life. A moray eel emerged from its rocky home. These muscular predators have been perfecting their hunting techniques for millions of years. Despite their fearsome appearance, they are generally curious rather than aggressive. Here, I thought I will wait for my opportunity for a close-up, but it never came. I think it was too much pressure and light for the moray eel to perform. But like Llosa didn't earn the nickname Merolandia for its eels, mero, which is Spanish for grouper. And here they are, the kings of this on-the-water kingdom. European groupers can live for over 50 years and grow to nearly 150 centimeters. They are incredibly intelligent fish. Some researchers believe that they can recognize individual divers, like us. These particular groupers have likely been patrolling these same territories for decades now. This marine reserve status is why we can witness scenes like this. Groupers' populations suffer significantly from overfishing pressure in the Mediterranean. Here, in protected waters like Tabarca, this magnificent fish can grow to their full potential and reproduce safely, contributing to the slow but steady recovery we are seeing across Mediterranean marine reserves. The chromis or castañuelas were nearly everywhere. They are like the Mediterranean version of tropical reef fish. Their coloration is actually a sign of a healthy marine ecosystem. Here was time for our safety stop. And after hanging in there for a while, we conclude our diving day. To dive two completely different on-the-water worlds, just minutes apart. Back in Santa Pola's harbor, there's time for relax from our scuba day in Tabarca. Well, in the water, visiting the island itself will be next. The Mediterranean might not have the reputation of tropical destination, but today remind us why protected waters like Tabarca are so crucial for biodiversity. Every challenge, the gear issues, the limited visibility, the unexpected encounters becomes part of the story, because that's what diving really is: adapting, discovering, and never knowing what ancient creature might drift into your frame next. To dive 30 meters depth and centuries of marine life thriving in Spain's first marine reserve. Not bad for a day trip from Santa Pola. Thanks for watching and happy adventures!